Good afternoon. We'll call to order the Tree Advisory Commission meeting. We'll begin with roll call. We've got Jordy Veit here as a guest today, and then we'll go around the corner and introduce, please.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. Joe Said, I'm city engineer.
Arlen Body, chairperson.
Greg Dearson, Commissioner.
Tom Romaine, Vice Chair.
Paul Eglund, Commission member.
Joey Schugel, Park and Rec Director.
Jeff Huffman, Public Works Superintendent.
Danita Trebish, Park and Rec Admin Assist.
Thank you. I seek approval of the agenda.
I would move that.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve our agenda today. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same. Seeing none, that agenda is approved. In number 4.1, seek approval of the minutes from September.
I would offer a motion that would accept or approve the minutes of the September meeting.
I'll second that.
Motion and second to approve September's minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same. Thank you. And we'll look at our old business under number 5, city reimbursement programs. Joe?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair and Commission members. In short, the money is all used up. We received the additional $3,000 from that DNR grant reimbursement that was used for ash trees. And just to break down the reimbursements that we had this year, there were 40 new plantings, 85 ash removals. 49 of those removals were on the private side, and then 36 were in the boulevard. So, yep, this is the first time that I can remember that all of our funding has been used up at the end of the calendar year. So, and we could have used more. We continue to have reimbursement requests come in, but as we're out of money, we'll have to wait and restart those in '24. So.
Seeing no other questions, we'll look at 5.2. Derek Nelson's not here. 5.3, Park and Rec. Joey?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Just a few short updates today. Wanted to inform everyone that Park and Rec still continues to offer weed wrenches for buckthorn removal. They are available for checkout at the rec center. November tends to be a pretty good time to do that. So that is an option, but process is stopping down at the rec center and signing those out. Additionally, staff will in the coming months here and weeks and months will be looking for areas for some pruning and some limb removals in the parks as identified on a lot of our mowing routes. As time and weather allows, that's a goal over the winter. Some winters that is achievable, and some winters it is not. So, but that's what I had for a report today.
Seeing no questions, we'll go to 5.4, Public Works Department. Jeff?
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. All I got to report is we've been busy cutting stumps for the fall this year. We got 72 of them cut out and filled so far as of now, and there's more to go yet. We probably have 30 that are to go yet, and then as they come down, as the weather permits, we're going to keep cutting them. So that's all I got to report.
Thank you. 5.6, we've got the Emerald Ash Borer and grant update. Joe?
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, bad news for you. Unfortunately, we were not awarded the latest round of DNR EAB grants. So that'll bring us to a item down in new business once we get down to discussing the 2024 budget. But So, yeah, unfortunately, we didn't receive those grant funds this year, or we will continue to look for future grant opportunities to apply for.
Did they have a second round schedule, or was that it for 2023? Is there a 2024?
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a 24 solicitation, but we will keep our eyes out for that.
Thanks for the effort and the attempt on that. That's been our go-to as far as funding it especially the boulevards.
Yeah, I don't have the exact breakdown, but the DNR, I think they received, God, was it $40-ish million in requests? So a lot of other agencies in the same boat just as us requesting those funds. And I think I'm just assuming the DNR is trying to spread the wealth a little bit. You know, we did receive 2 grants previously, so I'm sure that did not play into our favor, but we will continue to try.
Right. And I think the commissioner, chair and commissioners, I think the number was that this particular grant, there was just over $6 million in funding available, and DNR received over $33 million in requests. So, and that covered greater Minnesota only.
In some ways, we were maybe ahead of the curve in requesting what we did when we did.
Yep.
And I think it'll continue to be an issue. It's heading west as we
Yep.
speak.
Yep.
Any other questions about 5.6 EAB? Then we'll move to 5.7. Jordy Veit is here as a guest today to describe the program he's been working with.
Good afternoon, everybody. I don't have much today. I just wanted to follow up from the last meeting. Since obviously we're kind of in the off season at this point, there won't be much happening until spring when we do the site cleanup and that. But there had been some questions about the seed mix, and I didn't have that handy last time. So I did put that in there for the breakdown of the seed. Each of the plot got a large seed mix and a small seed mix. So you can see the breakdown there. If you have any questions, let me know. And then generally the common name, scientific name in type, grass, flowering, or sedge type thing. Otherwise, it will continue in 2024. We'll do site check-in in the spring. Usually that's April, depending on the weather. This past spring was almost the end of May before that happened. But check on the site, get stuff remarked, replace flags, markers that need to be, that type of thing. And then the process of keeping track of the buckthorn, cutting the non-test buckthorn, that type of thing that we've done the last several years. And then we will also be new this year doing a little more thorough inventory of other species that are in that plot and around that plot as well. That's a requirement for the extended grant money that they got. So that was kind of on there. So we'll be doing that this year as well. So any questions or looking for additional information on anything? Okay, thank
Other
you.
questions? Thank you, Jordy.
Yep.
Our 5.8 is the Big Tree Contest winner. Paul, you want to share what you did or what you...
Tom and I got together and went out and measured trees. They're shown on your minutes. The winner was at North German Street, 914. Mary Lou and Alan Bonifield submitted the winning entry. We did get one very large tree submitted, but it happened to be a paper birch, so it was not included. We measured it though. It was a big one. So, they're, according to the minutes, we're going to be sending letters out to all the people that entered the contest, and there will be a press release sent out announcing the winner.
Thanks for your work. Is it good news or bad news that there were only 7 or 8 to measure?
I was surprised that we had that many nominees.
Okay, thank you. Number 6 then, to the new business, our 6.1 is the 2024 budget.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, before you is the 2024 budget. You may notice that last meeting, we approved a budget that looked a little different than this. It was for $7,000 or $7,200. In realizing that, finding out that we didn't receive the grant now and their great need or great interest in the reimbursement program, Mr. Stadheim and myself just approached city staff just to see if there was anything we could do budget-wise to increase, the reimbursement program. So there is an additional $3,000 now allotted to the budget in 2024. We did want to come to you today, though, and ask how those dollars should be used. Right now, you'll see it in the Diseased and Boulevard Tree program, but we're open to feedback and recommendations on how to use that additional funding.
If, given that we've spent in excess of $9,000 this year on diseased and boulevard tree programs, is there an opportunity for us to, when we run out of money in 2024, is there an opportunity to seek other funds? Especially since we don't have the cushion that was from the DNR grants, or any carryover this year.
Mr. Chair and Commission members, that in lieu of asking for more in the middle of the year, if the Commission wished to, this would be the time to request additional funds from the City Council for 2024. Not saying we're getting kind of late in the budget cycle, but the Commission could make that decision to request additional reimbursement funds for the reimbursement program, and just see if City Council chooses to allocate those funds. Because once the funds are earmarked come December, it would be pretty hard to find funds in the middle of the fiscal year. So I think now would be the appropriate time to request those additional funds. And whatever the Commission decides to request, we can certainly bring that forward to Finance Director and City Manager, and ultimately, I'm not sure when the Council's next discussing their budget, most likely in December, we would present that to them with your request.
We want to have a general discussion about well, let me make a motion so we can discuss this, but I would offer a motion to ask for $10,000 in funds for diseased and boulevard tree programs for 2024. And I also think we should be having some discussion as to whether or not that we continue to do 2 stuffers on the utility PUC billings, and perhaps 1 or none, and take a look at whether or not we're buying anything with our funds at the home show.
That's a pretty loaded motion. Did
It
you
is,
get all
yeah.
that?
It hasn't been seconded yet.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, well, now we can discuss it.
We have a motion and a second to increase the budget to
$10,000 in disease and boulevard tree programs, and reconsider perhaps the PUC stuffer and the home show.
Mr. Chair, Commission members, so that would be an additional 2,800 to the Diseased Boulevard Tree Reimbursement Program. Commissioner Romaine, are you considering the $1,000 for the pamphlet printing and the home show and reallocating that somewhere else, or striking that completely out of the budget?
Well, you know, I have to apologize. I lost my right side hearing aid on Monday, so my normal inability to hear has been increased by 50%. So,
Yeah, so
I don't know if we should, you know, I would like to continue doing two stuffers, and I would like to see us at the home show, but, you know, perhaps the Diseased and Boulevard Tree programs are more important at this point than utility stuffers or the appearance at the home show.
So,
That's why I offered the motion. So.
yeah, Mr. Chair, I do think the pamphlet or the bill stuffers in particular are helpful for the community. I think there's ways we can make those cheaper by just doing plain black and white, and like my department, we send ours out on colored paper. It's the same cost, but black and white ink, at least it gives the flyers some pop a little bit in the bill. So I do think there's a way we can still get the stuffers out, but we just not send color or anything like that.
I'm certainly open to friendly amendments to my motion.
So, but because I do feel like they get the information out to the citizens. Yeah, I guess I would leave the home show discussion up to the commission, what you want to do with that, but I'm trying to think. I think like $300 is enough to get a black and white pamphlet out. So you could, you know, remove the home show if you chose, and then we could reallocate the extra $400 in the printing and put that towards disease trees as well.
You know, and then the past couple of years, and particularly last year, the printing in pamphlets of $700 was inadequate as well. So.
Thanks, Joe. Any other questions, comments? So the motion is to request an additional 2,800 added to our budget with the intent of diseased and boulevard tree programs.
Now, that money would go towards reimbursing for new tree planting. Is that what I understand it to be spent on?
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, that would be just in the disease removal and the boulevard replant. The commission may choose to allocate a certain percentage of those funds for disease removals and new plants. That is up to you, but as of right now, they're pooled into one category, so we don't differentiate between new plants or removals. But if you chose
that
to,
money is adequate for removal of diseased trees on the boulevards.
this is homeowner reimbursements, so they get yeah.
But
No,
are you talking partial or full?
it's a partial reimbursement. So
Yeah.
for a boulevard tree, they get reimbursed $75, up to a max of 75.
Okay.
For a private yard, it's a max of 50 per tree.
In the last year where we had over 10,000 on expenses, some of that was carried over, some of that was, we had 1,600 in carryover and an additional 3,000 from the DNR. So that brought us up to 11,600 is our total budget.
Yeah, because I think this coming year will use all the money we can acquire somehow.
We'll use quite a bit in
Yes.
January already,
Right.
making up for what's
Yep.
playing catch-up, you could say.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're gonna have a line right away at first of the year that people are gonna start taking their trees down and try to use those funds.
And the rest of our budget is as we go through the year, so if we can save money on some of those printing costs, we can utilize more perhaps in the the program
And the commission can always reallocate as we get through the year.
within our own budget.
Yep.
Any other questions on the motion?
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, could we look at each line item though and allocate just so staff has clear direction on what we want allocated to and what we want the request to look like? So for instance, the Disease and Boulevard Tree Program, correctly 10,000 in that line item,
Increase that to 10,000.
Increase that.
Stay the same.
and the rest would stay the same. Okay.
That matches the spirit of your motion, correct?
Can somebody read back what we have in the motion right now? The sense of this to me is that the motion would be to increase the Disease and Boulevard Tree programs from $7,200 to $10,000. And then
Correct.
that would be the end of the
And-
motion.
And other line items to remain the same. That will be the motion. So we need a second.
I'll second that.
We had a second, I
Wait a
thought.
second, okay,
Yeah. Before we started full discussion, we had it.
okay.
Seeing no other discussion, I'll call that motion. All in favor of increasing the Diseased and Boulevard Tree programs up to $10,000 and leaving the other line items the same? All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same? That motion passes. Thank you, Commissioners. And we'll hopefully get that forward with that appeal, really, that where the DNR grant was not approved, that we'll look for, because we're, in a way, we're behind already, we'll look for the city to make up those funds.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Director Schugel and myself, we can present that to council at our next available budget discussion.
And there's some appreciation for that idea because we've had the discussion with the parks and trying to manage EAB there as well as for our population at large. So I think that's worthy of our time. Anything else to 6.1 in our budget for next year? I think as those things come up, we'll try to be mindful of printing and pamphlets and the like. To item 6.2, election of officers for 2024, and we have a commissioner's term expiring. So for A, look for motions to nominate a chairperson for next year.
Are you willing to be chair? I'd nominate Greg Dearson as chair for 2024.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second for the nomination. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Nomination passes. And then, do I go straight to vice chair? We'll look for nominations for vice chair for 2024.
I'll nominate Tom Romaine.
Thank you.
Got a motion to nominate Tom. He's willing to be vice chair again. Looking for a second.
I will second that.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor of voting Tom Romaine to be vice chair, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same. Congratulations, vice chairperson and chairperson, I guess. And then Part C, commissioner term expiring. Arlen Body's term expires at the end of the year. So we express thanks to Arlen for his years of service. 2 terms plus, finished another term. So as long as I've been on the council, Arlen has been as well. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Commissioner Body and Commissioners and Chair, Mr. Chair. Now this will leave 2 seats open going to 2024. So staff will work with the mayor, but just a plea out there, if you know anyone interested, best way to do it is go on the City of New Ulm website. There's an application form. or just know a name and contact information, we can have the mayor get that information out to someone who may be interested.
Thank you, Joey. And then 6.3, 2024 meeting dates are listed. July 4th is a date that interferes, so we need to choose or look for an alternate date.
Yeah, so Mr. Chair and Commissioners, July 4th will not, City Hall will not be open that day, nor would I assume that any of you would like to attend a meeting on that day. So a couple options. We can look for an alternative date that would just require chambers being open, and we can do that in our early 2024 meetings. If you want staff to bring some options back to you, we can set that at the January or even March or May meetings. Other option would be just to take that month off as well. So, but open to options and how the commission would like to proceed.
I think if we're going to be at 3 commissioners, we might be in trouble on a couple meetings anyway. So I don't want to skip one yet. So I'll ask for you to bring some alternate dates. July 11th kind of would make the most sense.
Okay.
But hopefully by then we can get that appeal for another commissioner or two spaces, correct?
Correct.
Any other comments to that, to the calendar?
I think it's very important that we not skip a meeting. We're meeting every other month as it is. And with the Emerald Ash Borer problem going on, I think we need to have all of our meetings. And we do need to have a full slate of commissioners, otherwise we won't be meeting.
Thank you, Tom.
Mr. Chair, we'll just have to verify. I don't know what the calendar is for council chambers here, but we'll have to verify that with administration to make sure the room would be available on that day.
Sure, and Joey's suggestion, bringing a couple dates would be fine, because we'll have plenty of lead time early in the year.
I'm not sure what's second.
Any other items? Make sure they get emailed ahead of time, 1 week ahead.
Just one comment, and this is, we were driving back from the East Coast in the end, October 1st, and we stopped at an Oasis on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and that place was teeming. It was just almost carpeted by spotted lanternfly, which is a really voracious insect. It eats just about everything. It likes some things other than others, but I mean, pumping gas there, they were all over you. It was on the truck, it was in the tires and everything else. And the last reports I saw on it, it's in Indiana, and it must be hitchhiking all over the country on trucks and cars, from what I saw. So we may be getting another whammy in a year or so. So I don't know that what the impact will be. There's, again, people are discussing things like winter temperatures as a control effort for that. But, it's the next issue.
Always something out there. We'll keep an eye out and remain as vigilant as we can of some of these, the next invasive, I guess you'd say. Any other questions, comments? Again, thank you, Arlen. And with no further business, we'll declare ourselves adjourned.